Morning, guys. We are here at Kingman at a local charging station for the Tesla. We just had to refuel the Tesla, going off of real world performance. Um, we started with a full charge from home in Vegas. We're now here in Kingman. Got the Tesla's battery down to about 30%, give or take, and then we're on the supercharger right now as we speak. I don't know if you can hear that with the background noise of the wind. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over. You can hear the cooling fans ramp up as it accepts a supercharge from charging station, and then that's because with a lot of current, my speculation, of course, I'm not exactly sure. With a lot of current flowing into the battery, you gotta have to find a way to cool the battery. That's why you're getting that ramp up in the noise. So we're just gonna get close just for noise. It's to help dissipate the cooling as the Tesla accepts the charge. And then I'm just gonna show this real quick here. I have never actually seen this in action, but pretty neat. Given the limitations of current technology, charging, this is what we're faced at the time of this recording. All right, guys. One other thing to note on our trip here to Kingman from Las Vegas is the 95 road. Pretty rough, most of its parts on our way. So you can feel the bumps and bruises a little bit. You can hear road noise due to the fact that the road was not maintained too well, or it's seen better days. But overall, we're here, we arrived. Just did a visual inspection of the tires, if not. All right, guys. Guys, we're here. This is it. Alright guys, on this clip I decided to do a voiceover for this footage. Mainly it's just me doing a visual inspection once I arrived at the dealership and greeted by Mike, our salesperson in Kingman. So I'm just inspecting, just doing a quick visual. As you can see, the bed liner here has had some wear and tear on it. That's to be expected, being as a truck. And I go down, do a visual of the under chassis from the rear of the truck, making a note of any rust, and then we're panning over to the right rear, just observing as I go along, just somewhat being meticulous but not overly meticulous, as we're on a time frame here, because at the time of this recording was my birthday, and we had other schedules or appointments that we had to keep, so we had to make it back to Vegas uh, in a specified time. So anyway, going forward, we move on to the front passenger side, just observing as I go along, and just making a note of the detail. With dealerships, if you want to sell, and this should be pretty evident for all dealerships that want to sell their vehicle or entice the potential clients to sell, you want to detail the car before presenting it to the customer. In this case, it wasn't done so very much, as you can see and observe as you watch the footage. I inspect the glove box there. Cool, service manuals there. And then I further note, I go under, just looking at the under chassis for any potential problems, rust issue mainly, and checking to see if the cat is intact, because this truck is got a high ground clearance, and with catalytic converter theft going on, it's a thing we have to deal with in society nowadays. And just pan over to the front, making further observations. And then I believe right around here when I go under, I notice a scuff mark. I don't really notice it now, or I notice it now as compared to when I was doing the visual. My main concern here was just, surface rust issues or any damage of any sort that were. Yeah. Here I ask Mike to pop the hood, and I also ask how many keys the vehicle comes with. He replies stating it came with an aftermarket starter, a remote start, which is cool. It's a plus. Very handy, especially in the summer months where I reside in Vegas. And then just make an observation here, of course. Just making note of just the small details, especially on the upholstery, because the upholstery usually tells what kind of condition the vehicle was put through prior to me taking ownership of this vehicle. Moving on to the engine compartment, I just observe the engine, listening to the sounds, any like valve rattle, chain rattle, stuff like that. I look at the fluids, make an observation for oil leaks or whatnot, power steering fluid leaks, cam tower leaks, stuff that's evidently common on these V8s of the Toyota, the 5.7 series. And then I make a quick observation because this was involved in an accident, front end. Kelly Blue Book, or was it Kelly? No, Carfax, sorry, reported it was, it hit an animal, basically. Usually when stuff like that, I look at the frame and body for any kinks or bends, and usually stickers too, like information stickers will be on the radiator support shroud. I have yet to determine that if there is any labels that come with it from the factory. So here I just look at, you can't see it on camera, I look at the information sticker of the engine, and of course Joanna goes in there,
body lines look
checks
good.
it out, and while she's doing that, I'm observing the body lines, because after an accident sometimes the body lines don't line up. As you can see there, that it's not a big big defect, but I do notice it. When I go over here, I do a compare and contrast. You can see the body line there is like, it's perfectly lined up there. So just body lines, making sure things line up, stuff of that nature. And I go back here and I just basically say, hey, yeah, it's I don't tell Mike, this is for my reference, if you will. And we just go on, just making further observations as we go along. And then, we eventually take it for a test drive, which is not recorded. I didn't get footage of that because, new to me anyway. In this final clip for this video, I showcase the truck, explaining how much fuel we left Kingman, Arizona for. So we basically left Kingman just above half a tank, and we arrive in Vegas just a hair above the last quarter of the tank. And I explain how much cost was involved with filling the tank to full tank. It ran me $127 in today's economy. That is, I guess, normal. I've never owned a V8, but that's to be expected. You get this truck for not the economy portion, if you will. It's to do what you got to do, work-related wise. For fun too, sure. Well, why not? So I explain here basically the overall experience of the purchase. I come to later find out that it only comes with one key. The other two keys that were supplied to me by the dealership, by some odd circumstance, I guess belongs to another car. Because when I matched up the OEM key with the key that was, the two other keys that were supplied to me, the teeth don't match up, and You know. So that's one thing I gotta take note of. You know, keys and other stuff.